So we're going to talk about how we create market leaders. So it's an interesting sort of kind of topic. So we're going to talk about, share some tips and tricks around how we help these rocket ships. So let's kick off. So I think we're all familiar with these brands, right? So I think none of these brands need any introduction to you. So I think Coca-Cola, Uber, Tesla, all these brands that I think pretty much everybody in the room will know. Now, interesting point, and we just heard from Sweatcoin, so a few of you probably now know about Sweatcoin, but these particular brands, these are market leaders, but you probably don't know them. And we're going to talk about why you should know them and everything else as well. So one of the key things around Sweatcoin, I won't introduce them because Irina's done a great sort of conversation. It's something we've been working for about 2 years. Scroots originally started in Greece. They are the only company that's ever beaten Amazon in any region in the world. So they actually made Amazon Marketplace close down in Greece because they were that competitive with them. They've now expanded across Europe. They're not in Germany yet, but they're moving their way very closely. So Scroots is an amazing, Greek-founded business that is beating Amazon in their own market, and that's not actually that's unheard of in any part of the world. Food Hub, we'll talk from Nick shortly. So Food Hub in that food delivery space is a marketplace concept, competing against all the big competitors like Deliveroo, Uber Eats, and many others to name. So super competitive market, but Food Hub are doing really well. Again, they're not in Germany, but they're UK, US, and Australia currently, and expanding hugely. And Fastic, some of you might be aware of that. That's a German-based fasting app, one of the largest in the market and sort of stuff there as well. So we're going to talk about what's common amongst those and why they're growing and why they've become market leaders. So what are the things they've got in common? They're all apps. They were all under 8 years old. They've all got millions of users. They're all based in Europe, and they all have no problem with acquisition. You heard from Irina, the growth hacking side is working really well for them. So all these platforms don't have any problem with acquisition because they've got great products and great services. But so how do they pull it off? So that's an interesting sort of kind of concept. Well, first of all, they don't have the billions that we spoke about in the first logos. The first couple of brands we spoke about have huge marketing budgets. They might say not enough, but they've got billions to throw at a problem and make it go away. So these businesses are generally they're all private, they're all VC funded, and they have to be very careful how they spend their money. One of the things that they've all got in common, they're all customer obsessed, and this is kind of really important. They're customer obsessed, they're insights obsessed, and they're also partner obsessed. So this is a common theme across the board. They don't see customers, and this is really cohesive, so they have product teams working with marketing and digital teams. So they're very agile in the way they work, but they see customers not as an unknown to a known or a known to a retained customer or to a loyal customer. They look from a customer-centric, and customers moving through different parts of the journey. I mean, you've seen some of the numbers and some of these customers. It's vital they don't lose 2 or 3%. So they're customer obsessed. They put the customer journey and then understand how the customer moves through the different phases of sort of kind of engagement. They do a lot of retention techniques. As Irina mentioned, they do these kind of, they look at it as loops, customer loops, not channels. They activate the multi-channel side. So, they've moved away from the concept of we send emails to everybody in our addressable market, whether they like it or not, even whether they open them or not. So they're very channel obsessed on how they engage with their customers. They sort of kind of build campaigns for power users. So again, like the influencer side that Irina was talking about, they really invest in these kind of VIP customers and segment really a lot. I mean, one of the things I really didn't cover, they have 37 different personas and how they communicate and sort of stuff there as well. And they're in every company or every country apart from China. So they've really expanded really well. They do a lot of experiments. They constantly test, look at user path flows within the platform, see where drop-off points are. So they don't just do that project when they've got a problem, when they've got that leaky bucket. So if acquisition suddenly drops, they don't go and do a diagnostics. It's something they do on a daily basis. Constantly just check, their acquisition, their retention strategies, and see if there's any problems they've created. They do a lot of churn prevention. Customers that maybe move from happy to unhappy for a small reason. So there are lots of understanding, has the behavior changed? Let's try and intervene before it becomes a problem. So again, that comes back to the customer obsession side. They use a lot of kind of incentives. Incentives don't always have to be money. It can be a lot of sort of specialist content. So they have a really solid engagement strategy to make sure that just because they've acquired the customer, the job's not done. They have to drive that customer to adoption and making sure that they become loyal and stuff there as well. the key themes that we sort of tend to see is the insight side, using things like propensity modeling, using things like predictions. It's not just about executing campaigns. It's about understanding the propensity modeling, the analytics, the frustration points within an app or within a particular journey, and looking at sort of clever campaigns. Constantly testing. They're always doing something like amazingly creative, but always trying to make sure they stand out. I mean, they're all in competitive markets. I mean, Sweatcoin, for example, there's just so many people in the health industry, and plus big brands as well, like Nike, Adidas, who are investing a lot of money in this because the data they use off it sell to insurance companies and everything off the back of it. So, it's really about this kind of like individual campaigns and customer-centric approach. So that's a real key thing which they tend to drive. So, we all need a partner in crime. So, we all need that partner to work with us, and there's a couple of sort of kind of infamous, famous partners there. And we're going to talk about, how that partner is really, really important. So here's a couple of statements for some of our partners we're talking about here and about, how they've chosen us. It's about having that strategic partner and stuff, which is really important. So we can share this, and I'm sure it's on the slides and stuff, so I won't read each one individually, but they're all customer obsessed and getting that support from the partner perspective. But choosing that partner from a technology perspective is easy. I mean, look at the choice nowadays, and it's been updated on a weekly basis, right? There's more and more every single week. There's new players in customer engagement, CDP, CRM systems, all these different things. It becomes quite a complex choice to try to find that technical partner that can really support you and sort of stuff as we go through. So, it's like sometimes finding that right partner is a bit of a needle in a haystack. Back to the previous example, the dating bit. You're trying to find that one partner, not perhaps multiple partners. Well, I don't know, but generally it's the one partner, that life partner they're looking for. So, and it's the same thing when you're trying to choose a technology partner and sort of stuff there as well to work with. So, what we're going to talk about now is I'm going to invite Nick on stage. So you might have seen Nick a couple of slides ago. Nick was at Food Hub and was quite important sort of stuff there for making decisions sort of side there. So I'm just going to move from here to the chairs to be a bit less informal. So Nick, so just wanted your experience, and again the team. You've been faced with that super competitive marketplace even before your time at Food Hub. So talk about, when you're finding that right partner, talk about the story, the journey that Food Hub went along.
So thank you for having me here. Thank you, everybody. And so sometimes it's not an easy decision, but we are paid to make decisions. So when it comes to decide what partner, we have to think about a long-term relationship with them. And I use this approach. I have a preparation approach where I know what are my objectives, and then I evaluate my resources, and then I do my studies, so to find out what is the best app to fulfill my needs and my objectives. And then it comes to make a decision. Probably you know about one of the most successful MD, that was Marchionne, an Italian man, and he said, every leader has a big responsibility, and when it comes to make a decision, everybody is alone. However, a lot of times, what people do is they use shield, and this shield is branding. Sometimes we make the most obvious decision, that is, what is the brand that everybody uses? But is this the right choice for my company? So this thing has a name. It's called Principle of Social Responsiveness. It means it's one of the 7 principles of persuasion. And as marketeers, we use that every time when we say 1,000 people use our app. This is what we do. However, this is not how we must base our decisions. So don't pick the loudest, but pick the one that fits your needs. And maybe it's not the loudest, but that is the decision we are paid to make. Sometimes it's not easy because your CMO or your CFO say, yeah, but everybody use the other. Yeah, but the other maybe is not fit for us. So this is one of the key. And the second one is, a lot of people ask me, even this morning, what happens in the next few days? What now happens in the next years? I don't know. And we spend a lot of time trying to understand the customer behavior and to forecast it in the next 3, 5 years or whatever. I don't have these answers, and I think nobody has. However, I would prefer to ask another question, that is, what is the same trait, what is the same thing that our customers need in 5 years? And you can definitely answer that, absolutely. When I have to decide for a software, for example, for a partner, I say, what do I need in the next 5 years? Because technology, it evolves so fast, and maybe your competitors can overcome you. It's natural. It's part of the process. So what I need? Well, for sure, I need that in the next 5 years, the company, the software that I picked, that I chose, has the same alignment as my company has. So customer obsessed. And that is a trait that you can always find out. So I prefer to strategize in my strategy about that. Customers want to be cuddled, they want to be important. This is what I want to give to them. And in 5 years, that will be the same. In 10 years, same. That will never change. Like for low prices, good service, this is what they want. And this will never change. When I pick a partner that have the same traits. Because yes, technology can change, but if the partner is customer obsessed, it means I'm his customer. He will focus me, he will focus on me, he will be his strategy around me, he will help me to solve my problems, the same as I solve with my customers. So this is what I do mainly.
Thank you, Nick. Yeah, no, I mean, you inherited, not a problem as such, but as I said, when you when you joined the business, the CEO, when he launched Food Hub, I think he went through a bit of a decision tree, didn't he? He's like, yeah. he looked at, okay, when they were growing, they said, first of all, who are the market leaders using? And if they're using it, it's got to be good. So the obvious choice. And I think that was an interesting tipping point. You came in on the flip side of that. As I said, sort of kind of migrated platforms because, the reality was you didn't have the billions that we spoke about, the big teams, the big resources that sometimes these other platforms that required.
Yeah, big teams that our competitor focus on a CRM team that is probably 60 people. Yep. We had 2. Yeah. So we can't use the same software.
Come to us the pain point. That's what we try and solve and sort of stuff from that perspectively. So yeah, no, really good. So I think the key takeaway is, understanding what the right partner is, understanding what the right technology is. I think that's key. Sometimes, everybody said, nobody gets fired if they choose a particular platform. I think those days have gone. It's about the right product feature, but also the right partner. And if you really have a growth strategy, it's about, being customer obsessed. I can't stress it enough. The more, these apps are growing and growing rapidly for a reason because they're so detailed about the smallest things. A drop-off point of 2% is vital, and they focus on it, and they kind of keep testing and keep evaluating and keep researching, and that's why they are the business in the rocket ships and stuff they are. So, and when you find that partner, you need to have a partner that's obsessed as well, from a technology perspective as well. So that's really good. So just going to finish because I'm very conscious it's lunch, and they were laying out as I was coming down, and we're running a bit behind. But one of the things that we're offering today is we're offering people a free report. So we're throwing our consultants, our growth consultants at your organizations to help you assess your growth metrics, help you look at sort of kind of industry benchmarks of other customers we work with, and just to kind of give you a bit of a sort of kind of sense check of where you are against the competition. You can take that business away. It's not about MoEngage. This is about you as a business, and from our professional services experience and stuff there as well. So looking at things like funnel conversions and areas you can and certainly grow and support and stuff in that as well. And also look at these growth loops. Growth loops is something that everybody's been talking about today, and how we can improve that customer acquisition cost. So come to booth 3, which is just up the stairs and sort of stuff at the back. Certainly sign yourself up as this is absolutely free. We'll throw consultants at it as a sort of kind of a really kind of positive gesture, and you're going to get a report off the back of it of areas you can look to in the future. Now might be with your existing platforms, and hopefully might be with MoEngage in the future. But from our perspective, it's just there to support you and help you. Nick is also on booth 3, so if anybody's got any questions about the journey Food Hub's been along, or to pick his many years experience across in the MarTech sort of space, he'll certainly be at booth 3 to ask any questions there as well. So I will let you go to lunch because I'm sure it's been a long morning for you. So thank you very much, everyone. Hopefully that was interesting, and we'll share the slides. I'm more than happy to chat later on if anybody wants to as well. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks, Nick.